لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما ثم أما بعد. I want everyone to recall a date, October 29th, 2012. Now, when I say that date to the majority of us sitting in this room, nothing may hit us right away unless it's your birthday that day, or it's your anniversary, or some splendid event happened, where it's a very personal celebration, it's a very personal commemoration. But the event I wish to relate to you, which many of you may be familiar with on that day, was the day Hurricane Sandy made landfall in New Jersey. Suddenly everyone's like, yeah, it was such a nice day. The day Hurricane Sandy made landfall in New Jersey. Now I'll tell you about where I was at that time. The one thing which I was rejoicing about was not having school for 3 weeks. My university was completely shut down. But the thing which I wasn't rejoicing about was what ended up happening in that 1 or 2 week period wherein our state, for the most part, was out of electricity. We were out of gasoline. We were out of emergency supplies. And a lot of people were bunkered up in their homes just waiting for things to get patched up. Billions of dollars of damage, especially in South Jersey. And what ended up happening was that we actually got hit a bit worse than what we had anticipated. Right? That's when Hurricane Sandy had hit. When Hurricane Sandy hit, the majority of us had a lot of recovery to get through. We had a lot of despair for those of us who had lost our homes, but at the same time there was a sense of resilience. Now that was here. The reason I'm telling you about Sandy is because there was another hurricane a few months back, which we may have all heard of, down in Mexico. It was supposed to be what? The largest and the deadliest recorded hurricane in modern history. 200-mile-an-hour winds. And the news was going crazy. The media outlets were reporting on it nonstop. Home Depot, Lowe's, everyone was just sold out of emergency supplies. And what ends up happening? What ends up happening is that the hurricane made landfall in Mexico and almost nothing happened. The hurricane just happened to die out. It started to weaken very, very quickly. And here's the thing. My point in relating the story, brothers and sisters, is not to sit here and get you ready for September that's coming up to bunker up your houses. It's the fact that we're not always right. We are human beings. Human beings come from the Arabic word insan, and it's a very common word which we know. It comes from the word insan, which comes from noon, sin, and ya. In Arabic, you know what else comes from noon, sin, ya? Nisyan, forgetting. Forgetting, constantly not being able to remember something. Meaning what? That we're inherently flawed. We're not perfect beings. We're not angels. So why is it that when we're wrong on something at such a large level, that we think that just because we were able to get into an academic institution, we were able to erect civilizations, that does not mean the human mind is the end of, it is where knowledge ends. The human mind is simply where knowledge comes to be fortified and fermented in our lives. But when we start to think that if my mind can't comprehend something, if my mind cannot grasp something, then I will not take it, I will not believe in it, then we're fooling ourselves. We're fooling ourselves. Because even in front of us, what we see around us. When we talk about scientific theory, it's simply scientific theory. Yes, proven hypotheses are there. But at the end, the margin of error always exists within the scientific experiment. So even that margin of error is there. So when we are able to conclude that our minds cannot comprehend everything around us, then what ends up happening? Well, it becomes very difficult. Why? Because we forget we're human beings. We're not robots. We're not Aristotelian philosophers. The point of our being as humans is to use our mind, is to use our heart, is to use our emotions, is to use the senses that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. It's a fully comprehensive mechanism. That's what we are. We're nuanced, comprehensive people. We don't just think through our minds, we think through our hearts. The most common phrase that you'll hear is, my gut told me to go towards it. How do I quantify the gut? How do I quantify, we have the physical gut, which many people have, but how do you quantify your emotional gut when your emotions propel you to do something? Now, bringing it back home, why am I even bringing this into being? I want to introduce something to you guys. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not expect blind faith, but at the same time, He does show us the logical path to Him. The beginning of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam's journey was that of one where she was told to use his mind. But if you take a look at Surah Al-Fatiha, it's a very, very interesting journey. It's a very interesting journey in the sense that it relates back to us. And the problem, brothers and sisters, and I haven't even told you what the khutbah is on yet. So the issue that comes up is that we constantly overexert ourselves in thinking that logic is the key to solving everything in our lives. We think that if we can intellectually comprehend something, if our mind can grasp it, then automatically, and that becomes the only condition we put, whether or not we are going to accept everything around us. But that's not how humans have ever functioned. That's not how we operate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins His book with Surah Al-Fatiha. It's a surah that every single one of us knows. And every single one of us can pick up a translation, you can go watch a lecture, and you can read about Surah Al-Fatiha. But I want to give you a comprehensive outlook about this. The first 3 verses in Surah Al-Fatiha, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about, are what? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. Number 1, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about something. When you pick up a book, right? You go to Barnes & Noble, you pick up a book you want to read. What's the first thing you end up doing? And I'm going to talk more about this later, but I want to give you a synopsis. You pick up the book, right? You look at the title, you open it up, and you look at the author. After the author, you turn to the table of contents. You want to know what's in the book. What's the book going to talk about? And maybe before that, you'll Google the author's name, go on Wikipedia, read about him, see what his qualifications are, her qualifications are. And that's usually what ends up being the mode and the method one will use to what? Buy the book, read the book. Similarly, look at this. When we approach the Quran, we know it's the Quran, we know that it's supposed to be, or rather it is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the word of God on earth. We know who the author is, we know it's Allah. But Allah is telling us who He is. So before we even dive into the material, the table of contents includes the information about the author. So Allah says, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, that all praise and thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is Allah? Allah then gives us descriptions of who He is. He's Ar-Rahman, He's Ar-Rahim. He's the one that's being merciful to you right now. Through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy as Rahman, we're able to sit here right now. Our heart is beating. We're all functioning well. We're able to use our minds. We're able to use the bathroom. We're able to have our muscles function properly. We're able to live a life in which we are not constantly disturbed. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Rahman. And at the same time of Him being Rahim is something reserved specifically for the believers. For those who have Iman. Now Iman is a very, very interesting subject. I want to talk about Iman today. I want to talk to you all about the conceptualization of Iman in our daily lives. And one of the biggest issues that we face as a community, especially if you are the child of immigrants. You have an idea of religion which is being taught to you here. You have an idea of culture. Not all culture is bad. Rather, culture is not a bad thing. But obviously, we have to sift through bad culture to come to what Islam tells us. Rasulullah ﷺ was sent to a specific culture. He took the good of that culture and he left the bad of that culture. That's number 2. And number 3 is that we're dealing with the secularized idea of what religion is. Keep it in your house. Don't show it outside. It's not something of a public display. If there's a disparity between what you believe and what you do, it's okay. Those 3 places, when these 3 concepts of religion, when they come together, religion, culture, and what actual religion is supposed to be, it becomes very confusing. So how does that affect the word of Iman? Well, Iman, a lot of times we don't really do anything more than do what? Call it faith. Right? They have faith. It doesn't have too much going on around it. There isn't a lot of fat on that. It's completely cut and dry, faith. It becomes a one-word answer. But what does Iman actually mean? What does Iman actually conceptualize? What does Iman actually take into play when we are speaking about it? Well, let me tell you, I'm not going to finish off Surah Al-Fatiha, but if you want something to remember the Khutbah by and what we're going to speak about, remember Surah Al-Fatiha, and I'm going to tell you why. Surah Al-Fatiha is a fully logical explanation for someone who wants to understand who Allah is, number 1. Number 2, what is my relationship to Allah? Number 3, what is it that I should ask Allah for? And I forgot to add one more, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy and His justice. But what comes right after that? Right, when we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Don't say Ameen, wait on it. Alif, Lam, Mim. 3 letters. Now individually, many times, Surah Al-Fatiha is the one surah which the majority of human beings, or rather the majority of Muslims, we have a connection towards. We'll recite it when someone passes away. We'll recite it in many occasions. We recite it 17 times a day in our prayer. So automatically, Surah Al-Fatiha actually gives us a backdrop exactly, very straightforward, of what is the introductory Muslims' concept of Islam supposed to be. And guess what? Usually their heart starts jumping out. They're able to connect with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Allah says who He is. And then what? إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. If I recognize who the master is, me the one who's indebted to him, if I recognize who my boss is, if I recognize I'm the employee, I do what? I go out of my way to benefit from him or her. I go out of my way to take a stand and make myself close to that person. Because we know that person has benevolence. So then what do we end up doing? We submit ourselves to them. And then we try to get, what is it that I can actually get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah tells us, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. That guide us to, on, along, take our hand, Ya Allah, show us the path. Show us that path which will bring me guidance, it'll bring me solace. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking for. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us. So it's very logical. And then the end of it, غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, is a description of what? You know, in the Quran, if you actually open up Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah doesn't tell us, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Right? Here's a fiqh book for you derived from the Quran. That's not what He does. Right? What does He do? He actually gives us an example of people who messed up before us. People who kind of didn't do what they were supposed to do. And their whole narrative is in the Quran. It's mentioned in there. So what ends up happening is that it's a logical explanation. Now the heart's jumping out. The person's feeling really nice. You're feeling an iman rush. And then what? Alif, Lam, Mim. Alif, Lam, Mim. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. So hold up. You're telling me that this book has no doubt in it. Okay. You just said a completely a completely ambiguous statement, Alif Lam Mim. And then on top of that, imagine an author saying this. Imagine in the forward of a book, an author writes, just presses the keyboard 5 times. And then after that, he says, this book has no doubt. Now here's the thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as soon as we say we believe in you, Ya Allah, right? And we ask Him for guidance, He tests us right there. He asks us, He's asking us, do we really believe? Alif Lam Mim, this is a book which there has no doubt in it. Okay, fine. Let's move on. What is it? هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It's a guidance for those who have taqwa. I'm not going to translate muttaqeen. I want you to remember muttaqeen as those who have taqwa. And then who are the muttaqeen defined as? Who are the muttaqeen defined as? I don't want to stretch my khutbah out. Right? If you take away this aspect of it, I'm completely cool. Like, go home, go to Douglas, and like have some pizza, right? Enjoy yourselves tonight. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. Those who believe in that which they don't see. So taqwa's first clause in the Quran is believing in that which we don't see. Look, Allah started to show us the right path. It was your own intellect that brought you to the Quran. وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهُ. That when you look around the heavens and the earth, those people who even disbelieved in Him, they would say that Allah is their Lord. So you figured it out. Allah is your Lord. You came to the Quran, but now you want to start learning about Allah. And Allah, He gives you that intellectual stimulation through Surah Al-Fatiha. But we're human. Everything is not simply done through the way of the mind. There is emotion involved. So what ends up happening? الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. Those who believe in that which is unseen. Now you may be thinking, well, yeah, there's like one or two things which I believe, which in Islam, which I don't see, which I don't comprehend. Well, let me ask you this. The 8 arkan of Iman. آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر وقدر خيره وشره من الله تعالى والبعث بعد الموت. Can you logically explain all of those things to me? Right? Can you use your head to tell me who Allah is? Now let me tell you, right? If you go into an academic circle, right, and you speak to someone who may be an Orientalist, someone who's a professor on religion, someone who may not believe in God, you're right, in an academic circle, it's going to be very difficult to be like, I believe in God. I believe in Allah. Because think about it. As Muslims, what do we say? We believe in Allah, amantu billah. Have we seen Allah? Have we met Allah? Have we spoken to Allah? Has Allah shown Himself to us? No, but we still believe in Him. وَمَلَائِكَتِهِ. And the angels. Have we seen the angels? And think about it. Think about it. All of us sitting in here, we believe in these things, right? I'm not taking these out of a hat. I'm not taking this out of a hat. It's what we believe in. Angels, same thing. Do we have so much knowledge about angels? وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. When the Quraysh of that time asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, tell us about the spirit, and the ruh many times translates to Jibreel, who was the greatest angel. Allah simply tells Rasulullah to respond with, قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. That whatever is related in regards to the ruh, it's actually an issue related to who? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. That you were giving very, very little of knowledge. So when it comes to encapsulating it, the angels, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's after that? Allah, malaika, wa rusul. All the messengers, not just Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We believe in everyone from Adam, Moses, Jesus, to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we are obliged to do what? Love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Love the prophets. لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. That we believe in the prophets. Have we seen Adam? No. Have we seen Musa alayhi salam? No. But yet believing in them is obligatory. Believing in them is obligatory. If I say that no, Musa did not exist, Musa alayhi salam did not exist, that Ibrahim alayhi salam did not exist, but I believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, does that still make me someone who's a Muslim? It doesn't. Because my heart has to be convicted in that. وَرُسُلِهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. وَكُتُبِهِ. And the books. Have we seen the Bible exactly as it was revealed to Isa alayhi salam? Have we seen the Torah as it was revealed to Musa alayhi salam? Have we seen the Quran specifically as it was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Yes, we have the Quran in front of us. And the Sahaba, they saw the Quran being revealed unto Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They were in the society which influenced and grew that population, which the Quran influenced. Are we part of that? No. وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. Right? The Quraysh, they didn't believe in the Day of Judgment. They didn't believe that we're going to be held accountable for what we do. We're like, this is it. You know, carpe diem. I'm from Montclair States. Carpe diem. Right? Live your life as it is. Live the day in. But Yawm al-Akhir is something which we all believe. If someone doesn't believe in a day which we're all going to be resurrected, or rather that we're going to be judged, then it's going to be an issue. وَقَدْرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ مِنَ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. And the kicker here, right, as we call predestination, the divine decree, and constantly we're battling with, is it free will or is it God's predestinated? Is it God's divine decree? Right? It's something which everyone constantly asks about. But the question is wrong. It's like, why is it that we're trying to constantly intellectually grasp everything which is presented to us? Why is it that we don't try to use our hearts to navigate us? That's the issue which comes up. And lastly, right, وَالْبَعْثِ بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ. Everyone's like, yeah, I can believe in that. I watched The Walking Dead. I see people come back to life. It's like, yeah, I've seen all those zombie movies. He goes, yeah, and everyone just takes it as what? It becomes a joke. Right? وَالْبَعْثِ بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ. That every single one of us will be brought back to life. مِنْهَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ وَفِيهَا نُعِيدُكُمْ وَمِنْهَا نُخْرِجُكُمْ تَارَةً أُخْرَى. We created you from it. We're going to send you back into it. And then guess what? We're going to make you rise out of it again. All these things, can you believe it? We have to have these things encapsulated in our heart. But it's very, very difficult sometimes for us to think about it. And it hurts us even more when we try to understand the world around us just through our logic. Because that's not who we are. Human beings are not just logical creatures. That's not how it works. And at the same time, we look at it even within the gender difference. Women are more emotional beings, while men can be more intellectual, or at least think they're more intellectual. And what ends up happening? It's a clash. Because there's a reminder of who we actually are and what each person needs. But it's a wholesome opportunity. We can't be narcissistic. We function with each other. A man cannot function without a woman. A woman cannot function without a man. The child needs a parent. The parent needs the child. And similarly, Allah, the only difference here is that Allah doesn't need us, but we need Allah more than anyone else. That's the reality of it. We can't keep thinking that, I'm independent. That's not how the world works. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين واستغفروه إنه غفور رحيم. Can you please move up and make space for people? Because I see there's a lot of people standing up. So if you see an empty spot, please just facilitate someone else into there. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. We were speaking about Iman, and we mentioned that the 8 concepts, the fundamentals which comprise of our faith, are concepts which cannot fully be grasped by the mind, but rather the heart needs to be involved in that process. Now, speaking about Iman, to give you an idea of it, we said that commonly we don't do anything more than translate it into faith. But think about this, and to give you some perspective. Amana, is the same root for Iman. Amana is a trust, is something which you've been given and is trusted with. It's something that you need to take care of and watch over. At the same time, if you put it into perspective, Iman is something which gives us protection. Aman in Arabic is protection, as it is in Urdu, many of us know. Right? Aman is protection. So when we put ourselves in a position to let Iman enter into our hearts, it gives us protection in this world and in the hereafter. That's what Iman is supposed to do. Iman is a tool, it's a functional thing. It's a functional concept. Don't ever get it wrong. It's not like you believe and that's it. That action is supposed to permeate, that belief is supposed to permeate into action. And if that's not happening, then we're completely losing out. And I know what a lot of people may be thinking. No, I'm actually going to put this away. I know what a lot of people may be thinking. It's hard to be out there and just talk from a mimbar, be like, oh, Iman, yes, you come to the masjid, you pray, it feels really nice. While you turn the TV on, and all you see around you, 2015 just passed, they say it was one of the worst years for Islamophobia in this country. It was one of the worst years for Muslims to endure the psychological and physical pain that we went through. And now you have a presidential candidate who many of us know he called for the to the end of having Muslims immigrate to the United States. And some even had spoken about concentration camps. To take it lightly, someone even mentioned, like, if there was a Muslim concentration camp, like, we'd have the best food, we'd have the best IT, we'd have the best healthcare, we'd have like the best everything, right? Because everyone would be, together there and it would work out. But the truth is, it's very difficult to be in the position that we're in. And to say that, oh, just if you read a book, it'll go away. Cory Booker said it best. He said, we don't need people rising up to do stuff when bad things happen. We don't need reactionary projects, reactionary movements, but rather something which was happening before things went bad, before it all hit the fan, before everything went out. If we had people doing what needed to be done beforehand, we'd be in a much better position. And that right away clings to our faith. If we want Islam to survive here, we can't be reactionary people. We can't be isolationists. We can't live in fear. We can't just live away from society. We cannot think in theory. We have to be in a state of application. We have to be in a state of function. If we're not, we're kidding ourselves. We're honestly kidding ourselves. So all that together, that's what it comes down to. If there's anything else to take away from it, number one, is don't just feel good when it's time to feel good. Don't just be Muslim when it's cool to be Muslim. Don't just work on your faith when it's just, you feel very, very difficult. Rather, do it throughout the year. Do it in a stage and a place where you're comfortable. Don't let some large event or a milestone just propel you to the end, because then you'll get burned out. It'll be very difficult. And that's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. مَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. That anything that hits us, it doesn't happen randomly. It's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had allowed it to hit us. So pain is there. Pain is not going away. If there was no pain in this world, this wouldn't be the dunya, this would be the akhirah. Right? If there was no pain, then what's the point of Jannah? If there was no difficulty, what was the point of Jannah? Sometimes just turn the news off and focus on yourself. Focus on this aspect of Surah Al-Fatiha. Focus on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to convey to me and you. Focus on that aspect. And inshallah, tonight I actually wanted to let you all know, my name is Nihal Khan, I'm from North Jersey originally. We're going to be teaching a seminar going on from tonight into tomorrow. So tonight from 7 o'clock to 9:30, and then tomorrow from 10 o'clock to 6 p.m. going over a comparative study of Surah Al-Fatiha. How each verse clicks with the next. Everything I just presented to you was from that material which I've prepared for it. Now, when it comes down to it, I'm going to end off right now. Everyone needs to get out of here. Don't worry. I know. I'm from New Jersey. I know exactly you're sitting in that spot, and the guy just won't stop. Right? But tonight, inshallah, that's what we're going to be going over. How do I connect with Fatiha? How does Fatiha connect with me? What does Allah want from me? How do I understand everything together? What is Hidayah? What is the purpose of the Quran? And mainly is understanding how Fatiha will help us navigate the rest of the Quran, because it is its table of contents. I pray you all will be with us tonight. Inshallah, the registration will be happening then as well. And I'd love to meet you if you have any questions. But Jazakallah khair. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. Innaka hamidun majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على طاعتك. يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. اللهم ثبتنا عند الموت بلا إله إلا الله. آمين يا رب العالمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون. وأقم الصلاة.